Well, this is clearly not only a potential disruption, but it's already starting to happen, honestly. Reuters reported yesterday that only half the number of northbound trucks crossed the border yesterday as they did a week ago. Now, how many of those had auto parts versus other things? You know, it's unclear, but a lot of them did. As Phil pointed out, there's a huge trade in auto parts. And just take a hypothetical example. It's not just finished cars, but take the door of a car, for example. That steel that makes the door might be produced in America. It might go down to Mexico, right across the border for stamping. Then it might come back to America to put in the windows, the glass, and the controls for the rear view mirrors and the power windows, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of these components cross the U.S. Mexico border 2 or 3 times before they actually are put into a finished automobile. This is clearly a very disruptive and potentially more disruptive situation.
So are we bargaining here again for some type of outcome, or is it something that President Trump really wants to follow through on?
Well, that's always the question. How much of this is threat and bluster and how much of it is real? What we do know, honestly, is this, that even the threat and bluster has proved disruptive, Joe, because, you know, the companies have to plan for the worst. It's, you know, the old saying, hope for the best, plan for the worst. So that kind of thing already is happening now, actually. What's unclear to me is, you know, what does success look like here? How do you define success? You know, what the president has done is shifted people off customs inspection to immigration controls. And so it's unclear to me on the customs inspection what that really looks like. We're already at full employment in this country, pretty much, the lowest unemployment rate in decades. And it's hard to see that this is going to create more jobs. It'll probably cause temporary layoffs on both sides of the border.
With China, we at least had the idea that they're going to hurt more than we hurt, or at least that was the perception. You don't think that that's necessarily true in this case? You think that our auto companies, our workers, that Mexico isn't going to back down because the pain is greater down there? And I guess you make the point that even more immigrants may want to come here if the economy worsens in Mexico from this.
Well, exactly. This really creates more pro-immigration, pro-departure Mexico pressure. But you know, it's not a matter, I think, of Mexico backing down. I just think if the trade flow slows for auto components and finished automobiles, you're just going to have a lot of disruption. And I'm not sure what Mexico can really do here to satisfy the president, except reduce the flow of immigration, which you know, is sort of a hard thing to do on a dime.
Yeah. Nissan, in addition to Detroit,
yeah,
how
does that work? Gets hurt.
Well, my point on Nissan, it's not just Nissan, but it's Toyota. The Detroit companies, you know, have operations on both sides of the border, but so do the most of the non-domestic automakers who build cars here. Nissan, Toyota has a couple plants in Mexico. So this is really, it's not just affecting American companies, but don't forget, Nissan and Toyota, they employ American workers and Mexican workers. So the disruption damage here is really quite symptomatic of an integrated global economy.